Imagine a world almost entirely covered by water, a planet just emerging from a global ice age. This was Earth 600 million years ago. The air was thin, the continents were barren, and the oceans were just beginning to stir with the first whispers of complex life. For billions of years, life had been simple, mostly single-celled organisms floating aimlessly. But something incredible was about to happen. This period, known as the Ediacaran, witnessed the dawn of multicellular life. In the shallow, sunlit seas, strange and wonderful creatures appeared. They were unlike anything alive today. Picture organisms like Dickinsonia, flat and quilted, gliding along the seafloor, or Chania, which looked like a feathery fern but was actually an animal anchored to the seabed and filtering nutrients from the water. These were the pioneers, the first large, complex organisms on our planet. They were soft-bodied, leaving behind only faint impressions in ancient sandstones, like ghostly messages from a lost world. For millions of years, this was the status quo, quiet, gentle world of enigmatic beings. Then, around 541 million years ago, the fuse was lit on life's biggest creative burst, the Cambrian Explosion. In what seems like a geological instant, the oceans erupted with a dazzling array of new life forms. The quiet Ediacaran world gave way to a dynamic and competitive ecosystem. This wasn't just a simple increase in species. It was the birth of almost every major animal group or phylum that exists today. Suddenly, the seas were teeming with creatures that had hard parched shells, spines, and exoskeletons. This evolutionary innovation changed everything. It offered protection from new predators and provided a rigid framework for mussels to attach to, allowing for faster and more complex movements. It's also why we have such a rich fossil record from this time. Hard parts fossilize much more easily than soft bodies. One of the most iconic creatures of this era was the trilobite. These arthropods, distant relatives of today's insects and crabs, scuttled across the ocean floor. They had complex eyes, jointed legs, and a hard, segmented shell. They were incredibly successful, diversifying into thousands of species and surviving for nearly 300 million years. Alongside them swam an Omalocaris, the abnormal shrimp. This was the apex predator of the Cambrian seas, a creature up to a meter long with large compound eyes on stalks and two formidable grasping appendages at the front to catch its prey. It was a true sea monster of its time. But the innovation didn't stop there. We see the first chordates animals with a primitive backbone, our own distant ancestors. Creatures like Pikaia, a small ribbon-like swimmer, were navigating this new, dangerous world. The Cambrian seas were a bizarre and beautiful theatre of evolution, filled with creatures like Hallucigenia, with its paired spines on its back and legs below. A creature so strange that for decades scientists couldn't even figure out which way was up. There was Wiwaxia, covered in protective spines, and Opabenia with its 5 eyes and a long, flexible proboscis ending in a claw. So, what caused this incredible explosion of life? Scientists believe it was a perfect storm of factors. Rising oxygen levels in the atmosphere and oceans fueled more active metabolisms. The end of the snowball Earth ice ages left behind nutrient-rich waters, and the evolution of predation itself created a powerful arms race, driving creatures to develop new ways to attack, defend, and survive. It was a chain reaction of biological innovation in just a few tens of millions of years. A simple world of soft-bodied mats and fronds was replaced by a complex, modern-looking ecosystem filled with hunters and hunted, burrowers and swimmers. The Cambrian Explosion laid the foundation for all the animal diversity we see today, including us. It was a pivotal moment when our planet truly came alive. The story of 600 to 500 million years ago is the story of life's grand opening. A spectacular event that set the stage for the next 500 million years of evolution. Thanks for joining us on this journey back in time. If you enjoyed this glimpse into our planet's deep past, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the history of life on Earth. See you next time.